Jeff for having this wonderful event, and thank you to everyone for being here tonight. I have a short story for you. I'm going to read part of it, and it is called... It is called Strange Songs. A little strange. Okay. I took my umbrella out of its vinyl casing and strapped it across my back, tightly. It's a strange habit, I know, but I can't stand it when the thing moves out of my grasp, just as I'm about to reach for the extra change in my pocket for the bus fare. The strap that I made helps to keep my umbrella secure across my back, and I've grown quite fond of it. Its frayed edges are enough to make me feel worried about trying to make another one, but I doubt that'll happen anytime soon. I grabbed my coat, left the house to catch the first morning bus of the day. Leaving home just after dawn makes me feel awake, but this day was somewhat different. Perhaps there was some mold in the air, something sticky. I don't know what it was, but I felt some strange twitch while yawning my first morning yawn, and an ache lurked somewhere in my body. On the bus, it was especially quiet. The only movement was the swaying of a couple passengers standing up, tightly holding onto the grips from the ceiling rail. Their bodies moved in unison to the bus's slow twists and turns. No one wanted to be up, it seemed. As the bus lurched onward, the puddles on the floor sloshed and soaked into the cuffs of my pants. I slept standing up, leaning against the lady next to me, and woke up the instant I stepped on her foot. "Oops, sorry about that," I said and scratched my head. "Oh no, sir, I'm fine. And you?" Just a bumpy ride, I guess. Sorry about that." "Oh, that's all right." The girl whose foot I stepped on was wearing a thin, light green dress with a white polka dot pattern and a nice V-neck, which accented her neckline and drew attention to her snowy white skin. She had the most angelic face. I turned away after she noticed me staring at her for a bit. Her meek smile surprised me, for her demeanor seemed otherwise. I couldn't help but take another look at her as she turned to stare back into the window. She looked so different from all the other people I've seen in Seoul. We rode in silence for the remainder of the trip. Me with my umbrella, I leaned closer to the window so as not to bother her. She looked over to me, a man with a high red plastic scarf that was tucked around the bottom of my face and sunglasses. It must have seemed odd to be wearing sunglasses on a day as dark and rainy as it was. She stole another glance in my direction, but then fumbled with the contents of her purse. She looked for something deep within it. Enough of wondering about some stranger, she said to herself as she found her iPod. She played her first song on her playlist, Icicle by Tori Amos. The woman in her soft green polka dot dress got up to leave the bus. She didn't have an umbrella with her, so I rushed after her. Just as she was about to step off the bus, I clicked the button of my umbrella and it heroically popped open, saving her from the rain. She blushed. "Thanks. Coming to my rescue, I see," she said. Well, yes, I suppose I am," I replied. "I live just a few blocks away. It's not too far," she remarked. "All right, I'll walk you home then," I said without the slightest hesitation. We walked in silence, twisting and turning our bodies around the people in the alleyway. "What's your name, by the way?" she said as she turned to me, her nose scrunching up. "My name is Joshua," I said to her. "Hi, I'm Stella," she said warmly. As I tried to keep the umbrella over Stella's head, we weaved through other pedestrians and neared a small house which was back behind an Italian restaurant. You could smell Roma tomatoes and olive oil in the air. My stomach growled. "Here," she said and looked towards her one-bedroom quarters. She pointed to a small house with a small door and a window to the right of it. It looked like a small cottage. It was a quaint little place tucked away in the middle of a bustling city, the city of Seoul. Something you don't see every day with all the new Western-style apartments being built in the area. Why don't you come in, she said. I wouldn't mind drying off a bit, I said. Sure, I'll grab you a cup of tea. I'd like that. There was music softly playing in the background. I immediately recognized Life's House, Take Me Away. This time, what I want is you. There's no one else who can take your place. This time, you burn me with your eyes. You see past all the lies. Do you always keep Lifehouse playing? I asked. Only for days like today. It makes me feel a little less lonely, because I especially connect with the lyrics, she replied. So do you wish to find someone who can see past all the lies? Of course, but it's not easy to find someone like that. It's not so easy to find someone who truly cares to even get to know you these days. And anyway, most people are living a lie and don't even realize it, she quipped. What do you mean, living a lie? I asked. Well, for instance, most people, they live never knowing what true love is. Do you believe in true love? I asked. My hands slightly shook. I was taken off guard. Doesn't everyone? Don't you? She said almost angrily. Maybe I once did, I said. Sounds like if you did, you once lived your life wholeheartedly and embraced true love, she said. Well, isn't that what true love is supposed to be like? I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever been in love, she said. That's too bad. Yeah, I know. She poured tea into 2 porcelain cups with saucers beneath them. They were like an old couple, aged and slightly worn. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Thank you.